next step is to add some interactivity to our plot. I want to create something like this. I show you what I've already done here. Want to be able to like go through our plot and display like a little image of the Pokemon with the name. For this, we need to have, first of all, like a folder with our images, like these little sprites. And this folder has to like correspond to our, basically our Pokédex, our dataset with the Pokemon. So first step is to download this, and I'll show you where. To download the images, you can go again to my GitHub repository and go to data, Pokemon. And here there is a zip folder with the sprites, so you have to download it and put it somewhere. Okay, I want now to set up our base interactivity thing. So we go inside here and we create a new base. And let's put it somewhere here. And we call it like interactivity panel. Not sure, but let's go inside. And so we can start working here. I will use multi-touch in, this one, and connect it to a render pick. So now, to show you how it works, is the easiest way is to just go with practice. So we need a container here that will be like where these operators get information from. So we can create a container. Here, I will call it render pick comp. And this one has to show the output of our render. So we go in here inside our master operator and get, this needs to be only like what the render displays. So it can also be this, but like for safety reasons, we can get the render. So we go inside the render pick into look here into the background top, and we put the render. And now we go into the multi-touch in, and we put this one panel here. Okay, and now in the render pick, we need to like assign the render. So here in the render, we assign like our render again, like this. Now we have to fix a few things to see it in action. Let's see here. I think it's all good. In the render pick, we need a few things to adjust. So we can use here always, that you'll see in a bit how it works. And then there's something for allowing the mouse as an input. Should be here. Include mouse on in the m-touch in. Now, if I use the viewer active here and go inside our render, in the m-touch in, you see things happening. We have X, Y, and UV. So UV is like the XY normalized, so it's like the XY position. We also have other things that we don't really care for now. And there is a little issue here. As you can see, this window is kind of stretched vertically. And that's because we need to have like consistent resolution size. So here, if we go to layout, we have width and height. So they have to be square. but also this render has to be a square. So for now we have 1280 and 720, and we need also to have a square here. So let's copy paste this one, and actually the important is to have the same size in both of them. And then to like be more consistent, we can also drag these two here and this one here. And then to have it like nicely fitting the square, we can go on our camera here and we can play a bit with the parameters. For now I will just use this uniform scale, so we go like closer, and we can stop here. I'll put like 0.6, and so like we can start working on it. We can now check quickly how the render pick works. We can open the viewer here, so we have the code. Well, these comments are just like a bunch of examples of parameters you can use. Let's go and check on practice. So I put my this viewer as export, so we can see the Python output here. Here we go to the onEvents function, and here in the loop we just print event prev. Maybe also one of these parameters, so we can print u would be event u. Or if we go on our panel here and we open it, we have selected in strategy always, so anytime like my mouse moves on the panel, it will print something. And as you can see here, we have all these parameters that are listed here. So we have u, v, and all of them. Also we have our u printed here, which is this one, which should correspond to this one. And so we can use these things. We have x, y, which are the pixel, u and v are like the normalized values. And we're going to use some of them. What we need first is the following: the event pick op, which is the pick operator. Let's try. I will print here event pick op. Now if I go on my panel, as you can see, we have something happening. And these are the SOP operators that we are actually touching with our mouse. If I go, let's use this one, and I go, let's use this, actually, sorry, this one. I go to the markers gear inside, and this path, as you can see, is Scatterplot, markers, and that's what we have here. And this is the out one, so it's the SOP that we are touching with our mouse. So I will rename this one as markers output. Now let's try again. Now if I touch it, I will have this. I'll do the same with the others, just for consistency. So in axis, I'll call this one axis output. And in the fix, sorry, in the background, I will call this one background output. So now anytime I touch this like rectangle we have in the background, will be printed here. So that's because we don't want to like act anytime we touch or like move our mouse in this panel. We only care about the markers. So here in our render pick callbacks, we can select. So we can do the following. Oops. If event pick op equals, and then we can put this path, and then print something. Let's just take a look if it works. And supposedly we should choose the operator, not just like the string. So if we try now, we'll see the path and the our string printed. Now we can use this and put it outside just for to make it more clean. I will get rid of the comments and I will do the following. I will do markers op equals op, and then I use this string. Oops. So now I can use this one here. And I will get rid of this. So we will have something happening literally only when we touch the markers, like the dots. Another cool thing we can do with the render pick is to fetch the index of the instances. So like here in our markers, we have used instances. So we used this to create, like to choose and to select the positions of the dots. So we are using one single circle here, and this will be like replicated in all these positions. Now all these dots have like a number linked to them, and this number is also, like in this case, will correspond to like the Pokédex number of our Pokemon. And we can get this number. We can do the following. Here, instead of print something, we can get the ID. Oops. And ID will be event instance ID, and we can print it. So now if I go here, I get -1 because we need to enable this in fetch instance ID. Now if I go here, I will get the number. Now we want to get the name of the Pokemon corresponding to the number. For this, we can go up. So we can go into our database operator. And we can grab this null, which is like the output of the dataset. I will also reload this because I added the name, which was not present before. It will be there in the dataset I will put online. So now we have like our index and the Pokemon. So we can, to grab this, we can create a select here. And we add, like drag it here. So we have, and we can call it like data input. Doesn't really matter. We can refer to this one here, like data input equals op data input. And we don't need to specify the path because it's in the same like folder, say. And now we can grab the name, and to do this we have to use the table.characteristics from TouchDesigner. You can check more here. The way to do is the following. You can do name equals, we call it data input, and it's not too different from pandas, if you are aware of this. Will be ID, just like the index, and name, which is like the name of the variable here, this one. So now we can print ID and the name, and let's take a look. Okay. We also have to be careful with the index. So like in the table here, it starts from this one. So the index 0 is the name of the columns. It's not aware. So we can either like drop it like this and starting from 1, or as I will do is to add this ID equals to events instance ID plus 1. We can take a look at the end if it's all correct. We trust it for now. Okay. It's time to use the Pokemon images, the sprites we have downloaded before. And to use them, we can create a folder dot here. And I will call it sprites folder. And here, if you open, you can go to the path where you have saved. For me, it will be here, and I just open. So we have, as you can see, we have the name of the file and the full path. We can test it. We can create a movie file in like this, and we just take the first one, so copy paste this one here. As you can see, the first file is just for some reasons this. We can maybe use the number 1. We have Bulbasaur. And as you can imagine, we want to dynamically choose the correct file through the panel, the interactive panel. So here we can create a select. And now we want to select by index, and this so will be, let's say we have 1 here, actually 2 will be Bulbasaur. And now if I want to dynamically fetch this one, I can call this one selected sprite, and I will drag this one here, and then I will do one, 0. Actually, it's the other way around. If you come from pandas, can be confusing. Which is so 0 row column 1. So we have this. And now this number should refer to this. So the index of the Pokemon selected through the interactive panel. To do this properly, we can create a base here. And I will call it state OP. Now the data that we like create from the interactive panel will be sent to this one, and from to this one will be fetched like from here and anywhere else. So here we go on like right click and customize component. We have already our custom page, and we can create some parameters. So for now, we'll create ID, this one, which will be integer, and string for the name. So the parameter will be name and will be string. Now we go to our render pick callback. Maybe I will use my editor now. We can create a new operator name here, will be state op equals op state op. Okay. Now instead of creating just ID and name here, we will assign them to these new parameters we have created. So ID and name. To do this, we do state op par ID, and then same here, you can copy paste. And remember that the parameters customized are always capital letter. Actually, maybe we can still, because we are referring the ID here, and we might need it later also. So we can still leave it like this, and then, oops, state op var ID equals ID. Now, save, and let's take a look. So we check these two while we go on this. Okay, so we have them. And now, in the selected sprite, instead of manually selecting the index, I will use this state op par ID. Okay. Basically, now we want to add these to our final output. And to this, it's a bit convoluted. So we go up. So we have our render. I just move it a bit further. And now we can create another render. Just copy paste, and I will call it render plot or render display. And the good thing is also that we can choose what to display. For now, I will choose all of them, so I'll leave it like this. And now we from here we create an out. So when you do this, you can get the output from the base. So from here, I will create a null. So we have these two renders. We can clean the order later, but we have these two. Also, maybe we want to use higher resolution here. So 1280 and 1280. Just don't be scared of going high. Now we simply like compose them with the composite, sorry. We do over. So now you don't see because this is actually the other way around. So this is over this one, okay. But still, you already can see where we are going. So now if I modify, if I choose another Pokemon, I will have it. Let's start by making it smaller. You can add the transform. So we can just scale it, I guess. Like 0.1 maybe. Okay. Now what I want to do is to create like a small square that contains both the Pokemon and the name. So here, actually, we can leave the scale 1:1 for now and start creating the square with information. We add a text, text top here, and now you have the little text here. We modify the text now and we assign the name that is here. So we can drag this here and then add dot var dot name. As you can see, there is a mistake. So there is something we have to fix with the index later. Because this is senseless, of course, we can modify the font. So I will use maybe 40. And also we want the color to be black. And still small. Actually, the best way is to fit it, so we can do always autofit. So it will fill the entire space. And now we can move them around. So maybe this can go up. Let's try this. And this will go down, text. So maybe so if you use pixel, you have to use like the resolution. But if we change the resolution, that will also be not okay. So it's better to use fraction. And I will put -0.3. Okay, they look nice. Now, let's transform it now. I add the transform and we can scale it a bit. I've already tried, so I know what fits nicely. 0.85, 0.85, so it stays inside. And now to like fit it inside the square, we can add a rectangle here. And we merged them together with a composite, sorry, like this. Remember that they also need to have I mean, they don't have, but it's better for them to have the same resolution. So here we will also put 1280 and 1280. And the square will be size 1 and 1, so it will cover everything. Now we can play a bit with this rectangle. Maybe not that bright. Also in the composite we need over, as usual. And we can use some borders. Also like this. Okay. And now that it's ready, we can add the final transform and scale it down. So maybe 0.1 and 0.1. And here it is. So we can take a look if I go now to my panel and start moving, something's happening. So we see that the index is not correct. You can test here. And the reason is that, as we saw before, the first file, the 0 PNG, is actually just a question mark. So to fix it, we can either like delete it from the folder, or we just add +1 here. And we can test now. This is Blissy, Happiny, that's correct. And another thing, as you can see, sometimes we have a like just a black square, and that's because I didn't find a sprite dataset with all the generations, the Pokemon generations. It stops at 6th. So to fix this, for now, like a temporary solution, we can go to data, and here in table, before our null, we add a select. And here we want to grab the number of rows as the number of sprites. So for this, we can drag it here. So we have all the path, and we add dot num rows. Okay. So now we have, I guess this will stop to generation 6, I'm not sure. And which means that now, if I test, let's take a look here, we will not have the black squares. We sacrificed a couple of generations, but it looks nicer. Now we also want this square display to follow our mouse. So we don't want it in the middle. Maybe we want somewhere in the center or like at the top. But now I want it to follow our mouse. So for this, we have to create a few new parameters. We go in our state OP, customize component, and we can add just, I would say, just X and Y position. So it would be true float. We call X pose and Y pose. Now these positions, you have already guessed, but they will correspond to the following. So we go to data, and we have actually an operator called data position, data pose. So we can copy the path here and come back to our interactive panel. We create a select chop. Oops. And this will be data and data pose, the one we just checked before. We can rename it the same way, data pose. And now, so the index, like this one, will be the same we have here. So we don't have actually after 600 and something. But for all of them, we can grab the index of this channel as the position in our axis. So we go again here. I will open the editor. We want to create the new reference here. So state how can we call it, like data pos op equals op data pos. Now we will assign these two values to the state op like before. So here dynamically. So state op bar x pos equals data pos op. And as we did before, but it doesn't work the same way with channels as with tables. It's a bit different. We can do this x close bracket and then id. So to check it, we have two channels here, which are x and y. So I'm grabbing channel x and then the instance ID. And also, yeah, should be fine. Same for y. So y pos equals y ID. And let's see if they are updated. Okay, good. Now to use these two new information, x and y, we can go up and move this one further here, and we can create a new geo. Actually, let's create a circle first, small circle, like 0.01, 0.01, connected to a geo. Maybe I will make it for now like red, so we can see it. And we can move it a bit to see it. Let me make it bigger for now. So it's here. And I do the same for now. Okay, so we have this circle, which is just there. Let's put it back. And now it's in the center. Now we want it to reflect the position of the selected dot. For this, just to grab the path, I go back again here in the interactivity panel. Open this one, and here in the circle, I will grab x pos here in center and y pos in center. So it's tx and ty. We can take a look. So it's something is happening, but also something is off. Let's first make it smaller. So like before, 0.01 and 0.01. And to check what is happening, I go in the render pick, callback, and print. I will print ID, name, x pos, y pos. We don't have name, we have this. And also we have these. Let's just print this one for now. Pause. The issue is that when you use our dot table, we have first line that is like the column names, but here we don't have the same. So the first channel is actually the value we want. So here the ID is like +1, but the value we want here is -1. So we just add -1 to ID. Now, if I go on my interactive panel, you see that the circle will correspond to the correct position. Okay, now that this works, we also want to display like this, the Pokemon itself on the top of this. So let's go back and create a new geo. So first we create a rectangle SOP, and connect it to a geo. We can make it small, like 0.1, 0.1. And then we want it to move together with the red dot. So we can just copy paste the tx and ty from the circle here and copy paste here in the center, tx and ty. So I can just copy paste here and modify it to y pose. So if I try now, they go together. So I can add a transform and move it up a bit, like 0.5. Sorry, 0.05. Close, maybe 0.06. So just up like this. Okay. And now we want to add the Pokemon image on this rectangle. So we can go here. Actually, we don't need these two anymore. For now, we just create a null here. We go inside the geo and create a constant. Actually, to be consistent, we can also like create it here, like constant here, like we did here. And we move this null on the constant. It will be the color map. And then the constant on the geo as material. And that's pretty much it. So if I go now on the interactive panel and I move it around, I can see together the dot, the red dot, and the Pokemon. We can also clean a bit. So we don't need these two anymore. So like this comp and this null, we only need these two renders. We can move them like at the end. And inside the interactive panel, we don't need these last two. We can delete them. If I go up, I want now to create like a button here in the master operator. And when I switch it on, I want to open this. I want to open the render pic. Can clean a bit. Now here we don't need these two anymore. And also if you go up, we don't need these and these. Now this interactivity panel refers to the out that we have just deleted, while now we have this null one. So we can go up and replace this with null one. And we have these two renders. Okay, we'll take care of these in a second time. For now, let's leave it like this. What we want to do now is to have a button here in the master operator that will allow us to open and play with the interactivity panel. So like go inside, go here. We want to have something like this open. Actually, don't know why I put this null. Let's use this one. So instead of the operator viewer, instead of the null one, let's use the render pick. So it's exactly what it will be displayed inside. And now I create a window. And in the window operator, in OP, I will drag this interactivity panel. And now the good thing of the window, instead of just using this one, is that there are many parameters inside that we can use, and we can also use dynamically. And here we have this, the win open. If I click on this, we have our panel ready. So to be able to click, to have a button here and open this window, this is not that easy, and we need to use extensions again. So we can go here, in our Scatterplot, in our Scatterplot extension, and we can write a new function. Let's go into the text editor and write that open interactivity viewer. So self course. And then we want to like this function to trigger this parameter, this win open. So first of all, we can call this like as interactivity window, and then in the in our code we refer to this operator. So op as we have done before, we can do this way. Take this part, which is self-owner comp is the scatterplot, so the master, or this one also. So we can copy paste this, and then we add outside this operator. So this, and then par, we check the name of the parameter, which is win open. Par win open false. Okay. Now the problem is that what we have done before is to like automatically trigger these functions when the extensions is initialized here. But this one will not, for this one will not be the same. We don't want to open this as we initialize the class. We want this to be triggered by a button. To do this, we need to use another dot, which is parameter execute, and we add it here. And the way it works is that once something is triggered, when something happens, and we'll see what, something else will be triggered. So we open the parameter execute, and we drag the operator will be the master, so the scatterplot. We can also do like parent, actually op parent as reference. So we have the scatterplot. And so anything that will be triggered here will be seen from here. But the parameters that we want to be seen must be written here. So let's do an example. So I go to the master and create a new parameter. So I go to customize component and let's do from scratch. I will create a new page called Interactivity. And in this, from now, we'll just write, let's just create a button. So I create a pulse. And I will call it open viewer. And this name will also go here. So now I have in the interactivity this parameter that is also referred here. So we have on pulse on, so actually you can put all of them on, there is no need to keep them off, but we care of this one only. So when def on pulse means when something, like when some parameters from the master will be pulsed, something will happen here. So let's just print something. Let's try. So now if I click on pulse here, I have something. And now the goal is instead of printing something, we want to trigger this new function we have created, the open interactivity viewer. So here we can get rid of some comments here, and we can create the reference to our master operator. So master equals, there are two ways, and one is also this one, op. Oops. As you can see, inside we have put the scatterplot as here, so we can use this parameter. So be op me par op. Okay, we can check. Okay, so we have it here. And now that's the point of extensions. So if this is our master, the extension we created here will also allows us to access to these methods as if they were part of our operator. Okay. Second thing, if you remember the difference between promoted and non-promoted functions, to actually be able to access these, we need to use the capital letter. So I will change this one. Now I copy this function just as it is. And here, instead of printing master, I will do master and then paste the function. Now, the chain of events is I click this will trigger this snippet, and this snippet will trigger this function. Okay, we can test, and it works. Oh, we've seen that when we open the viewer, it's too big, doesn't fit the screen. And that's because the render we use has this resolution. We can go smaller. So for now we can go like 900 and 900. And the same here. That will be useful later, actually. So now if I open the viewer, it fits. Can still change a bit. So if we go in the window, we can modify the justify both to the center. So now we'll be here. Nice. And just to show you like what you can do. for example, let's say that we want to be able to modify these left, center, right. We can create a parameter. So go into the master and customize component, and we go to the new interactivity page, and we can create a new parameter called justify horizontal and add it. Whoops, my mistake. I think I created a header. So we want these as a string menu. And we want the choices to reflect the choices here. So you can see that we have left, center, right mouse. So let's try left. And left is 0, center is 1, and so on. So the actual names must be what we have here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the label will be left, center, right mouse. So let's do this. Left, center, right mouse. Okay. Now, oops, we can also assign a default one. Let's go back, and default will be center. So 1. So actually it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So center is 1 and default will be 1. And now we move this justify horizontal to this as a reference. Now if I open the viewer, I can also change this. And okay. And everything you change here, it's also customizable from here, just to give you a little taste of what it's possible. As usual, this section is over, so I want to clean a bit. There's not much. I want to change the names of these two views. So I will call this one selected marker, and this one info display. Okay. Now here there's not much to clean, just maybe add can add a section here, and so this open viewer is a pulse, but we want also a header, so like interactivity panel, and I'll put it at the top. Actually, I want the section here and not in the open viewer. Yeah, that's it. I'll go up, up, up. And now we will see how to create legends.